We've got a great couple of guests this evening, and I'm going to start off by introducing the host of the call, who is Denise Stevens. Denise is out of Dallas, Texas, and just a little bit about her so you'll know who is talking on the line. Denise spent about 18 years in the corporate world as a lead software engineer for some of the IT systems of the stealth B-2 bomber, to mention one of them, which is really exciting. And in 2000, she was introduced to the MLM business model, and one short year later, she left her corporate job and has been involved in this business for 17 years. So someone that's very experienced and knows how this works and knows the beauties of this business and the service. In June 16th of this year, she was introduced to Global Rescue Direct by one of her business partners, and she and her husband, Lloyd, work this business together and share it and are great leaders with the company. She's a wife and a mother of 3. She's a grandmother of 4 granddaughters, so I don't want to hear anybody complaining about time when it comes to this business, because you can do it anytime, anywhere, any place. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Denise Stevens. Denise, welcome tonight.
Thank you so much for your kind introduction. I'm so excited to welcome each of you joining this call this evening. I believe you're going to find this to be a very profound call delivered just in time for a better 2017. This evening, we are joined by 2 very significant guests. First, Global Rescue's visionary founder, Mr. Dan Richards, and second, Global Rescue Direct's president, Mr. Doug Robinson. Also tonight, you will hear real people. People like you and people like me that have found the revolutionary service named Total Care offered by Global Rescue Direct. We hope this call is a wake-up call for you as well as those you love. Imagine smartphone access to high-quality health care outside of insurance prices. Perhaps your reason for being on this call this evening is because you're one of the millions of people who are frustrated with the rising cost of health care and the diminishing quality of that expensive care. In fact, you may even be facing the difficult choice of health care coverage or risking life without it because you simply can't afford it. You're not alone, and it's not just the monthly cost that has gotten out of hand. Deductibles have gotten so high that a trip to the doctor's office means that you have to come up with the money for each visit, which means you are self-insuring yourself while staying just under the deductible required to fully benefit from your high monthly insurance premium payment. And how many times have you gone to the doctor to find out that all you really needed was a medication, if that? Yet each time you visit your doctor, it costs you time and money. Today, more than any other time in history, so many people are searching for a way to cut the cost without reducing the level of quality care. Well, Global Rescue Direct is your solution. Let me tell you just a little bit about us. We offer quality healthcare coverage, 24-hour access to medical professionals at an affordable rate. We're not new. We've been in business since 2004. Our reach is on a global scale. We have hundreds of medical professionals and over 200 medical centers of excellence worldwide. We have world-class partners like Johns Hopkins, Elite Medical Group, and Partners Healthcare. And we have over 1 million members, people like you and me. Can you imagine being able to use your smartphone to access a doctor who can provide you with an immediate diagnosis and even provide you with a prescription if needed without making a trip to the doctor's office? Can you imagine further cutting your health care costs dramatically and improving your level of health care? That is exactly what we do at Global Rescue Direct. Our founder and visionary mastermind behind Global Rescue and Global Rescue Direct, Mr. Dan Richards, has joined us this evening to share his vision, his strategy, and give each one of you a peek into his heart and his resolve that is going to solve a problem in a very broken system that you and I call U.S. healthcare. We could not be more grateful for the time, the vision, and the opportunity to spend the next few moments with Global Rescue Direct founder and CEO, Mr. Dan Richards. Dan, welcome to the call, my friend.
Thank you, Denise. It's great to be with everybody here tonight. I want to talk about 3 things on this call. The first is our services, their stage of development, and how they're being received in the marketplace. The second is the state of the healthcare market in this country in the wake of the election and where healthcare in the U.S., from my perspective, is going. And then the third has to do with GR Direct and our role in leading what is a revolutionary movement bent on improving healthcare in the U.S. So let's start with the services, because honestly, for me, that is the most important part of what it is that we do, namely that we are able to deliver on the promises that we make to our members and for those who depend on our services day in and day out. The services are relatively new, as we all know. We launched Total Care in beta earlier this summer. We launched more formally this fall. And to date, we've now performed hundreds of consults for people on the urgent care side and dozens on the subspecialty second opinion side. While nobody's perfect and no company is perfect, and it's impossible to bat 1,000, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. The people who use the service love the service, and they love the access that it provides 24/7, 365. They love the quality of the interactions that they're having with our clinicians, whether it be the paramedics, the nurses, or the doctors. They love what it costs, which is, depending on the type of membership that you have, it's either included or it costs $45 per consult, again, for the urgent care consults. They love everything about it, and they love the ease of access of just simply using their smartphone or other connected device, whether it be a computer or a tablet, to access these services. So the promise that we made when we launched, namely that we were going to improve access, improve quality, and drive down cost, all of this is happening. And the feedback that we're getting from our members who are using the service is phenomenal. They are excited about the service. They are using it in increasing numbers every single day. And we are out there making a difference in their lives, whether it be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I can tell you, I am, personally with my family, one of the big users of the service. I have 2 small children. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. You know how kids are. They're getting sick constantly, unfortunately. And so we use the service ourselves day in and day out. And just the other day, we had 2 sick kids, actually the other night, one with a 103-degree fever in the middle of the night and a cough that didn't seem to want to go away. Total Care was there for us. And that's not just because I'm the CEO of the company. It's because I'm a member and have access to it just in the way that all of you do who are members, and all of you who will become members will have access to it. So the second opinion service, another part of our service which is not used as much, but which is an incredibly valuable service, is also one that is getting incredible feedback. We have people who have called in for conditions as diverse as the potential need for spinal surgery, cancer diagnoses, possible heart and cardiac conditions, and other sorts of things that we have made a huge difference in their lives in terms of how we have been able to give them an expert second opinion and a subspecialty perspective that they wouldn't have had otherwise. And in some instances, it's resulted in a complete change, either in the diagnosis or in the treatment plan, or both. And so both of these services are being extraordinarily well received. And so for all of you GBOs on the call and all of you who are thinking about becoming GBOs, what we really do have here is a service that people love. It's revolutionary, and it provides, again, access, much better quality, and reduced cost, which is not something that we've seen in healthcare in a very, very long time, if ever. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is the state of the market. And I think that probably most of you on the call couldn't have predicted the outcome of this election. I certainly didn't, and we know the media and everybody else that were supposed to be experts got it wrong. What we're seeing in the marketplace right now is real uncertainty about what the future holds with respect to healthcare. So whether you're excited that Donald Trump won the election or you're in misery, it doesn't really matter. What we do know is that change is coming to healthcare. And the Obamacare, which was flawed from the start and made things worse, is going to be either meaningfully changed or in all likelihood scrapped entirely. What will replace it, none of us know. But here's the bottom line. Rather than waiting for seeing what the government is going to do, we have an opportunity here to go out and provide a service that we know will be unparalleled by anything that Washington comes up with. That is for sure. Whatever the construct is with respect to a new health insurance program, it is likely that it will be yet another government program that doesn't meet all the needs, in fact, many of the needs of most Americans, unfortunately. That doesn't mean that it won't be a vast improvement over what we have, or that it won't provide insurance coverage for people who desperately need it. My hope is that it will, but what it won't do is provide the kinds of services that Total Care and Global Rescue are providing for our members when they're at home, when they're traveling, and really anywhere in the world. So don't adopt a wait-and-see attitude. That's not the right thing to do. Whatever happens with the government, it's not going to happen quickly in all likelihood, and whatever ultimately comes to pass, in all likelihood, will not reduce the need for Total Care. If anything, the need for Total Care will be just as strong as it has been to date. And my expectation is that need will grow, not only here in the United States, but also around the world, which obviously won't be affected by the U.S. legislation, but where the opportunity is gigantic. So I think the opportunity in the marketplace is as strong as it's ever been. Telemedicine and telehealth is an exploding sector with an incredible degree of excitement around it and innovation, and we're constantly working with other companies in the marketplace with respect to technology and different ways of delivering the service, which we're really, really excited about. And we expect that the next few years are going to be just an incredible experience for those of you who are business owners in this sector. Let me just spend a few minutes now on the third topic, which is Global Rescue Direct and our role in leading this revolutionary healthcare movement. You know, healthcare has defied innovation for decades. Unfortunately, unlike any other industry where the consumer actually has an understanding of what costs are and what they're getting for their money, healthcare, because it is so bureaucratic, so overly regulated, so impenetrable. None of us know what we pay for our health care and most of the procedures and visitations that we experience, and the quality has been declining. So it's tough to point to any other industry where price is increasing and to see an industry that continues to thrive. Well, this industry has, primarily as a result of these bureaucratic and regulatory protections, which is why the time is now for this revolutionary movement to be driven forward in a grassroots way. We have a singular opportunity now at this time in history where there is so much innovation occurring, so much change that is about to happen, to seize a piece of this $4 trillion market and make things better, not only for ourselves with respect to healthcare, but also with respect to the business opportunity. And that business opportunity is a bigger business opportunity than any of us will see in our lives, because the market is so large, it is growing so fast, and there are so many issues with it. So now is the time to get in and be part of it. And the thing that is so wonderful about what we do at Global Rescue and with Total Care is it's not just the business opportunity, which is a fabulous one, but we are making positive change and helping people and improving their lives every single day with the quality of the service. And the great thing about our service is we have plans that people can afford regardless of what zip code they live in, what profession they practice, whether they're wealthy or whether they're not. Our service can make an impact on the lives of everybody. So with that, let's go make this happen together. I couldn't be more excited about where we stand right now, and we're only a few months in, and the future is bright. So let's go out and make it happen. And here's my best wishes for the holiday and a great start to 2017.
Thank you so much, Dan, for your passion, your vision, and your willingness to bring a Wall Street quality healthcare solution to the average person on Main Street. The first day I met you, Dan, you said something to me that rings in my ears as if you just said it. Those words were, quote, "Your organization will circle the globe," end quote. Dan, today, I believe working together, we can truly move mountains. Thank you again, and especially thank you for Global Rescue Direct. Now, it is with incredible gratitude that I have the opportunity to introduce Global Rescue Direct's president, Mr. Doug Robinson. Doug and his unselfish spirit spends hours teaching, training, and mentoring those of us who are basically the unsuspecting victims of the broken healthcare system. The knowledge that I have personally gleaned from Doug's 25-year experience working directly in the belly of the beast can only be labeled priceless. Without further delay, I'm going to bring on Mr. Doug Robinson. Take it away, Doug.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and thanks very much for that great introduction. Also, thanks to Dan for his comments earlier around all things global rescue, total care, Global Rescue Direct, the timing in the marketplace, etc. I couldn't agree more with Dan's excitement, his vision, his enthusiasm. I guess what I want to interject at this point in time, and many of you know I've spent 25 years or more in the healthcare industry in various different capacities, but generally in strategy and in operations for working with some of the largest employers on their challenges dating back 25 years around healthcare. And as complex and huge as the U.S. healthcare system is, it consumes, as Dan said, in excess of $4 trillion a year. It's 20% of our national economy. There's no segment bigger. But as crazy, big, and complex as that is, it really can be broken down into, three categories that I think epitomize how it's broken. And each of us as individuals can realize this and recognize this in our own personal lives, whether it's for ourselves personally, our families, or even as business owners, our businesses, and that is access, quality, and cost. The access into the system, and has been for years, is convoluted. It takes nearly 3 weeks today from the time you intend to schedule an appointment with your primary care physician until you can actually get in to see him or her. Once you're in the system, the quality of the care that we receive is anything but high quality. And I know all of us on this call tonight would define quality slightly different from each other. But when you shut your eyes and think of your last encounter in the healthcare system, I would challenge any of us to really think that we're getting what we would define as high-quality care. That's a travesty. And then last but not least, the cost of the care. Once we're into the system, the cost of the care is high, unacceptably high, and going higher at a pace that is really unacceptable, unreasonable, and unsustainable. So what are we going to do about it? Well, that's where Global Rescue Direct, and our total care services come into play. The timing couldn't be more perfect for a virtual healthcare play like Total Care. And as Dan said, the recent election, regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum and regardless of which candidate you backed, healthcare was front and center in all of the discussions. And now that we know that President-elect Trump is moving towards shaping his cabinet and shaping the new government going forward, we hear words like repeal and replace. Well, I'm here to tell you, I have no doubt that the Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare, will be repealed, and Dan said some of this in his remarks as well. And it will be replaced with something, but that repeal and replace, in my opinion, is going to take along the lines of 18 to 24 months to fully play out. And during those 18 to 24 months, from this moment forward, we're going to have more chaos, more uncertainty, and more disappointment, frankly, in the healthcare system and in our encounters with access, with quality, and cost. So the timing couldn't be more perfect for us, for you as GBOs, for prospective GBOs, prospective members, to engage in Total Care. Our Total Care value proposition is a high-value offering. It's going to make an immediate difference to you, whether you're an individual or a family or a business. And later in this call, we're going to hear from individuals that in just these last few months have had an opportunity as members, as GBOs, to interact and to engage with our medical operations personnel in matters of urgency. And you're going to hear directly from them and hear their excitement, their enthusiasm for how this virtual healthcare play that we call Total Care molded and shaped and changed their lives in a profound way at various different times of the day. And now they have opportunities to evangelize, to frankly talk about it, and to take their excitement and share that with you and build a business around that. So have a fantastic evening. Thank you very much for asking me to participate in this call, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Your knowledge, experience, and direction is a true asset to each GBO, as well as each of our Global Rescue Direct customers. You know, we've been told our whole lives, if we're not part of the solution, we continue to be part of the problem. And Doug, your knowledge is extraordinarily valuable, and you are definitely a vital part of solving the access, quality, and cost issues plaguing our U.S. healthcare system. Many thanks again, my friend. Like I told you at the beginning of the call, we're going to shift gears and hear real stories from real people experiencing the Total Care service with the tap of an app on their smartphone or smart device. Over the next few minutes, imagine you and your family having immediate access, outstanding quality, at a cost you can afford. Our first testimony hails from Park City, Utah. Miss Victoria Sherrar is a single mom and former chief sales officer for a major advertising firm. Victoria is on the line to share her use of Global Rescue Direct's Total Care solution. Victoria, take it away.
Hi, Denise. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me and excited to share my story, and was so thrilled by my use of this with my 16-year-old daughter. I live up in the mountains, as you mentioned, in Park City, Utah, where it gets very, very chilly in late fall, early winter up here. And my daughter is prone to a lot of sinus and throat things. So hence I bought the unlimited memberships. I had a feeling I'd be calling a lot, especially in the winter. And about 2 weeks ago on a Friday morning, 6 a.m., woke up. She was so congested, feeling horrible, 22 degrees outside. And I said, okay, here we go. We're going to use the app. And she was a little apprehensive, like, Mom, really? I mean, you're going to use a camera to look at my throat? And you know, 16-year-old girls, it can be really fun. So I said, Taylor, this is the option. There's no doctor open, and if there was, you know how it takes us about a week to get in. So tapped my app very quickly, got an EMT, went through just some of her symptoms and how she was feeling, and then within literally 45 seconds, doctor came on and again turned the camera on, looked in my daughter's ear, looked at my daughter's nostrils, throat, looking to see if maybe it was strep. Didn't think it was strep, but I think it's a sinus infection. Tell you what, where's your closest pharmacy? I said, well, we don't have one that opens up until about 7. We don't have a 24-hour one up in Park City. Sure enough, she was nice and snug in her jammies. I zipped out in 22 degrees at 7 a.m. Walked in. They had the prescription filled right when I walked in there, got back. Not only did she have it, but she was able to go to school that day, which she's 16. She's in all these AP classes, trying to get, good grades to get into a good college. It was just incredible that she was able to go to school. That could have never happened without having my app and Global Rescue Direct available. I am thrilled, and now she loved it. And one more incredible aspect of the service is the follow-up. They not only followed up later that day to see how she was feeling, they called 2 days later to check on her, to see how her symptoms were. I was so blown away. I haven't had a doctor call me back for anything other than maybe surgery in years. So that was so impressive, and it felt like, it was 1968. I'm excited. It sounds horrible to say that, I want to get sick and use it more because it was such a great experience. But thank you so much for having me, and I hope that helps people understand the value and the power of having this app at your fingertips.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for sharing your awesome story. Wow. It really makes me wonder how many school days would have been missed by Victoria's daughter had she used traditional access methods into the healthcare system to solve her daughter's sinus infection. Now, let's head east to Arlington, Massachusetts, and hear from Jay Hanley. Jay is a 20-year IT professional in the banking and financial industry and a very busy father of 3. Jay, are you ready to go?
Sure am. I'm here. Thank you. I want to thank everyone for the opportunity to speak on behalf of Global Rescue Direct and their services. I have a family of 3 children. Ages 11 to 7 is the youngest. And my youngest came in from a day being outside during the summer, which is what kids do, and noticed that he had a red mark on the back of his leg. And in these parts, we are concerned about Lyme disease and tick bites. So this was at a Friday, maybe about 6 o'clock at night. We were all settling in for the weekend. I talked to my wife about it, and we both looked at it and thought that we might need to get some information on what the bug bite was. It wasn't anything mosquito bite or anything like that. It was a big round mark. So I had just got biometrics device, and we had talked about it a little bit. So do we want to wait until Monday to go to the pediatricians, or let's use the service? I'm a big believer of, hey, let's use it. I was familiar with the tool. I was familiar with the app that I had already set up, and I was really excited about using the service. Discussed with our wife. We decided it wasn't really beneficial to wait and worry over the weekend as to what this bite was. I sent a message to Global Rescue Direct with a description of what we were seeing. In about 10 minutes, I got a phone call back from the Global Rescue Total Care Call Center. Very polite, very prompt, and we had talked about the description of the bug bite, a red mark, just like a EMT or just like at the doctor's office. They went through their questionnaire as to whether or not he had a fever, chills, aching, things like that that would normally lead to diagnosis of maybe Lyme disease or something like that. We went through the diagnostic tool, my son's temperature, his heart rate, his blood oxygen level, which is really neat. We then worked on a photo after a few minutes after his Q&A for the diagnostic. It was determined it was probably just a spider bite, and his next steps for him were to basically give me some tools to ease the pain, and then he said, I can give you a call back tonight. And this is the really cool part of the story, which is this is a Friday night around 6:30. He gave a call of about 11 p.m. How about if I call back on 11 p.m.? And I said, that would be great. So as we were putting everyone away, I actually forgot about the call at 11 p.m. on the dot. I get a phone call, and he's following up to see how my son is doing, which is just amazing. It was great. Same person, very polite, and it was just wonderful that right on the dot. And so that just made me feel better. And I think the thing about the service, I didn't have to wait or worry about what this bug bite was or this mark was all weekend until I could get time to go to the pediatrician. I didn't spend all weekend on WebMD trying to figure out what the bug bite looks like, what it could be, and getting all worked up to that. And I didn't have to take everyone out on a Friday night to the urgent care facility or the nearest one that was around. I did it all from my living room. I did it from, my son was there. Everyone was there. We didn't need to move anyone. Everyone was in their PJs when we got the call back. And it was just a wonderful service. It really impacted me in that as a GBO, I'm selling the service and I have a real connection to the service because I have a real life experience. I think everyone should go out there and who has the service, plug in the Biomed device, plug in the Global Rescue app, get to know how to use it and actually start using it because it's a great service. Thank you.
Jay, I think your story is so powerful because many of us can so relate to the hassle of having to load an entire family into a car and drag everybody to the ER or urgent care clinic for non-life-threatening situations. We all know what that means. Exposing all of our family members, disrupting your weekend, which is our most precious asset after working all week, and not to mention the cost savings by avoiding an unnecessary ER or urgent care visit. Thank you again for sharing, Jay. Hey, and great decision to tap the Global Rescue Direct app. Next to share her total care story is Deborah Anderson. Deborah is an entrepreneur based out of Mansfield, Texas, managing her nationwide print company and a Global Rescue Direct global business owner. It's not easy to be sick when you run your own business, as Deborah will attest. Being the eagle that she is, she needed to get her wings back under her, and she needed to do it fast. Deborah, it's all yours.
Thank you, Denise, so much for the opportunity to share my first and not my last total care experience. I woke up a few days after Thanksgiving thinking I had the worst food poisoning ever. Vomiting, nausea, all of it. With food poisoning, you kind of have to suffer through it. It's going to pass. But that evening, a friend of mine reminded me, there's an app for that. So I, for the first time, tapped my Global Rescue Direct app, sent in a little message with my symptoms. I was called back a few minutes later by a paramedic who did a professional assessment. He called back a few minutes later and put me on video with Dr. Nancy Ferguson, who was awesome. She was nice. She spent time with me. Very thorough. I had a prescription called in that evening at the Walgreens closest to me, and we went and picked it up, and my problems were solved, and I got a good night's rest. Even better the next day because they called to follow up. I've never had a doctor call to follow up for a little case of food poisoning. In fact, if I had any problems, that would have been another office visit and another fee. So I'm really, really glad that we signed up with Global Rescue Direct. I'll never use another service again.
Thank you, Deborah, for sharing your story. I think we will all agree that we have a need for speed in regards to getting through food poisoning as fast as possible. Once again, Deborah, your ability to avoid the emergency room and urgent care clinics with Global Rescue Direct's Total Care Service was quick, convenient, and to the point. And you solved it right from your home. You have a powerful story, Deborah. Thank you again for sharing. Last, but certainly not least, we're going to hop over to Arlington, Texas and visit with Brittany Stevens. Brittany Stevens is a high claims automobile adjuster and has struggled her entire life with asthma. Let's hear from Brittany and gain perspective. As we all know, asthma is not something anyone should ever play with. Brittany, we would love to hear from you. Take it away.
Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share my experience. I've struggled with asthma my entire life and pretty much been a part of me since I was very, very little. My mom had mentioned this service to me and it explained the benefits of it, of not having to actually go to a doctor's office and being able to use an app for a doctor. And honestly, it sounded wonderful, but having the opportunity to actually use the service and see the benefits of it is just, the product is second to none, to be completely honest. Early Thanksgiving morning, I was having some asthma issues and I was having difficulty breathing, and I know the signs right away, so I figured I better get ahead of it. And I had just recently actually lost my insurance, so I did not have any more of my rescue inhalers. So I figured, now's the time to try the service out. So literally a day or maybe two, I can't quite remember the timeline, after I purchased the service, I went ahead and downloaded the app and pressed it, and literally it's very simple. I pressed one button. I was introduced and texting with a paramedic. I told him I was having asthma issues. He got me in touch through video chat with another paramedic to assess my situation, made sure that I was not in need of emergency services. Once I told him, it's just the precursors of an asthma attack, that I, definitely do need some more albuterol. They pretty much gave a thorough checkup and decided to go ahead and transfer me to a doctor. The paramedic took all my information, got everything I needed, basically triaged me as if you would go into a normal doctor's office, and then got me over to a doctor. The doctor actually surprised me with how thorough she was. And honestly, like I said, I've had asthma my entire life, and I've never had a doctor be so thorough with my asthma treatment regimen and basically trying to help me not only fix the problem for today, but have some preventative measures for the future, so I didn't have to constantly be using my albuterol rescue inhaler. So she was very, very, very sympathetic, and I did this all the while from my bed. So like I said, it was early in the morning. I was just literally sitting in my bed, and this doctor is on a 3-way video conference call with me. Very personable, and once again, the treatment is second to none. She got me my inhaler. She got me a couple of other medications that would help me maintain and hopefully suppress my asthma issues. And she also volunteered to follow up with me within 24 hours, and they actually did. So they followed up with me after 24 hours, made sure I was okay, made sure I got the necessary treatment. I mean, they did everything. They called the pharmacy, everything. And then also, I wanted to note that the paramedic actually stayed on the 3-way call during that entire time that I was on the phone with the doctor, and some information that the doctor couldn't necessarily access, the paramedic, instead of me having to give it to her again, she actually stepped in and gave her that information so it wouldn't have to impact me. And I actually work in customer service, and that is a huge thing. You want to impact the customers as least as possible, and it was very, very, very customer-oriented, very detailed, and I felt like I was in safe hands. And once again, my mom talking to me about the product, I was very, excited about it, but once I actually got to use it, I mean, this thing is, once again, second to none. I hope that everybody has the chance to use it like I did, because it was so easy and so helpful.
Brittany, thank you so much for taking the time to impact the lives of others by sharing your story. You did a very good job of making the comparison between the high-quality care you receive with Total Care as compared to the average physician visit when trying to solve your common asthma situation. I bet you would agree when I say, when it matters most, Global Rescue is there. Brittany, thank you again. Are these stories that you've just heard not exciting? Your story is simply one decision away. You've heard the vision from our founder, Mr. Dan Richards. You've heard our strategy from our president, Mr. Doug Robinson. And you've heard from real people, people like you and people like me. I hope we've opened your eyes to a world-class service called Total Care. With Total Care, your healthcare access is in the palm of your hand. Whether you are an individual, a family, or a small business looking for healthcare access, Global Rescue Direct can possibly save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars per year, while at the same time improve the quality of your healthcare and simplify your access to the healthcare. And by the way, we are looking for entrepreneurs to join hands with us to take a much-needed solution to a waiting world. Our vision is very straightforward. We believe it is a fundamental right of every person in every zip code to have immediate access to concierge quality healthcare at an affordable cost that every person and every business can pay. Period. You have absolutely nothing to lose by picking up your phone immediately following this call and discuss your needs and wants with your global business owner. After all, they cared enough to invite you to this call. They will show you our membership options, they will answer your questions, and they will help you get started with the plan that works best for you or for you and your family. So make a decision. The numbers don't lie. In closing, we hope we've added value to your life. Thank you, and good night.